Well, our relaunch of Thomas had mixed results, so the board has pitched us to try out something new. Say, Bob, do you remember those feature-length specials we did for you?
Oh, absolutely. They worked out great.
Well, the board thought, hey, if the specials work great for Bob, why don't we give it a try out with Thomas? After all, what can go wrong with an extensive episode? It's a good idea from a marketing point of view. Oh, what's that? You said add learning segments? Well, that's a good idea, Pingu. Why didn't I think of that myself?
Way to go, buddy. You'll be promoted to the new manager position in no time. So, I have a stupendous suggestion. Why don't we use those special characters from Thomas and the Magic Railroad? They've been gathering dust ever since we used them for that movie that nobody ever dares to bring up.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's an amazing suggestion. What did you just say? Okay, there we go. The special's written. Send it over to the crew at Shepperton.
Hey folks, this is Old Teapot 7 here with
Sakura the Diesel, and welcome back to another episode of Every Episode of Thomas and Friends Reviewed. It's been a long time since we've covered a TV series of the franchise, but here we are, ready to tackle round 2 of the hit model era. Last time, when we took a look at Season 8, we had a very interesting moment covering this season. The season definitely impacted our thoughts about this new era moving forward, as there were some changes with Season 8 that made it at least interesting. Then there were other changes that may or may not hurt the show's image in the long run. But overall, we didn't have a bad time with Season 8, and that's still a good sign right there.
I personally had mixed feelings on Season 8. There were some episodes that I thought were really good, so good in fact that I think they could have fit perfectly in Seasons 6 and 7. Then there were those episodes that were just so bad that I just can't even bear to watch them ever again. But hey, after taking a much needed break, I'm finally ready to cover some more Thomas episodes. And today, we're gonna cover something a little bit different. We're gonna be covering our second ever Thomas special. Wait, second? Huh?
Yes. Well, if we want to get technical, this is really the first Thomas special, where the other Thomas special we did was just a movie. But yes, for any Thomas fans out there, if there's another thing that the show is known for, it's the hour-long specials. And today, we're going to be reviewing one of the first ever special in time for the 60th anniversary with Calling All Engines. Now, we couldn't find that much information on why this special was made or its production history. All we really know is that this special was made to celebrate the 60th year of the franchise, as well as the 20th year of the TV series, as the special was in production during 2004, the same year Season 8 was released.
Also, prior to the production of the special, there were some concerned crew members that argued that an extended Thomas episode wouldn't work. But fortunately for them, the special did well, and all of the doubts quickly went away.
But hey, we don't leave you viewers hanging without giving you some type of history with this special. And it just so happens that both Barney and I have our own history with this special too, and we're going to share it with you. So for me, I was about 6 years old when I first heard about this special coming into stores real soon. I found out about it through the very old Thomas the Tank Engine website when it was still brand new. And folks, let me tell you, when I saw the cover of that DVD special, I was pretty much fanboying the whole way through, and that was because of Diesel 10 being on that DVD cover. For those that are new, Thomas and the Magic Railroad was my first movie and first Thomas movie I ever saw as a kid, and Diesel 10 was one of my favorite characters in that movie. So when I saw him on that DVD cover, a lot of theories were going around my head on what this special could be about. Keep in mind, trailers for this special weren't all that common, so I had no idea what the plot of this special was. I just knew that Diesel 10 was going to be in it. So the day this special finally came out, I knew I had to watch it right away. And truth be told, I did like it in the end as a kid. I thought the special was decent for a first try at a Thomas special. But if I'm also being honest, there were some moments in this special that also disappointed me as a kid. But we'll get to those moments in due time. Anyway, I've kept this special for a very long time. I still have the DVD and the VHS tape that also came out. and I'm looking forward to reviewing the special and see if it still holds up.
Well, my story with the special is completely different. I was too young when the special was released in 2005, so my love for the show wasn't there as of yet. As I started growing up, that's when I discovered YouTube, and the very first clip I remember seeing was the scene where Thomas gets splattered with paint, followed by the big engine fight. Seeing that clip sparked my curiosity, and it made me want to go and buy this special. Unfortunately, every time I tried looking for the special either at Walmart or at Toys R Us, it wasn't available, which left me very disappointed. But that all changed in 2009, when I finally managed to get a DVD of the special at Kmart, and my initial reaction to the special was actually quite good. I remember really enjoying the special as a kid, and at the time, I thought it offered everything that I wanted a Thomas special to feature. Of course, my thoughts on the special have changed a lot ever since I first saw it in 2009, but who knows, maybe this special could be a hidden gem in the Thomas franchise, but we'll have to wait and see.
So, with that being said, Bonnie, are you ready to review this special?
Yup, let's do this. So the plot of this special is that there's a new airport being built on Sodor in order to welcome the new vacationers who are visiting the island for the summer holidays. However, whilst all that is going on, the Steamies and Diesels aren't getting along at all, leaving the new airport and the rest of the island in jeopardy. But when a big hurricane destroys nearly the whole island, it's up to Thomas to convince both sides that they need to put their differences aside and work together in order to fix the whole island and also to finish the airport in time for the summer holidays. So I'm going to start by saying that unfortunately, my views on this special have grown more negative as I've gotten older, and after watching it 3 times, I can definitely see why my views have gotten more and more negative. First of all, I really hate that Thomas doesn't get his comeuppance in this special, even though he's the one that started this whole freaking mess to begin with. But that's not all, his anti-Diesel stance gets really annoying and more frustrating as the special goes on, making him extremely unlikable to the point where you just want to get up and punch him in the smoke bots. Next, I want to talk about the learning segments. This is the only special to feature any kind of learning segments, and I can see why they didn't return after this special. They add absolutely nothing to the story, and instead make the special drag on to the point where it gets really boring to watch. Sure, some do add a bit to the story, like Thomas playing a trick on Diesel, and the one where Thomas looks for Mavis, but the rest are so predictable and bland that nothing would have changed story-wise if you took them out of the special. Third, this special was so poorly written. It tried to teach kids a good moral about working together while not looking down upon others because of their physical features, but in the end, it comes out as a big mess that ends up offending nobody, but at the same time ends up being a frustrating and boring watch-through. Throughout the special, the Steamies and Diesels don't get along, and their intense rivalry only grows as the special goes on. But you know who makes things worse? Yup, Thomas. Thomas really makes this special annoying and frustrating to watch because he ends up making the problems worse. Don't believe me? Well, first of all, he wasted valuable construction materials just because he wanted to play a trick on the Diesels. Second of all, his goddamn anti-Diesel stance is so prevalent throughout the special that he ends up becoming an unlikable jerk who thinks that one side is better than the other after lowering down the new bridge piece, effectively resetting the plot back to zero for a good long while. Lastly, he never admitted his own mistakes, which in my opinion makes him even more unlikable. And yes, I know he effectively put things right in the end, but everything's gonna go back to square one once we get to season 9, so what's the point of this special anyway? Also, this really angers me to death. The engines fighting one another comes up as being really stupid. Really? Now everyone is fighting because of 2 engines' problems? Really? Why is everyone fighting against each other for 2 engines' problems? Gosh, I hate this special so much already. Anyways, negatives aside, let's briefly talk about the positives, because I do have a few positives. First of all, the visuals of the hurricane, the suspension bridge breaking, Gordon's tent flying away, and the first airplane flying to Sodor were really well done. I will admit that the scene where the suspension bridge breaks apart during the storm still amazes me to this day. I also really like the scene where Sir Topham Hatt says that bananas are no good for building sheds. That line never fails to get a chuckle out of me. And as much as they are stupid in concept, I still have a soft spot for the dream sequences for being so surreal yet fun at the same time. God, those goggles on Percy still look very creepy. Finally, I want to briefly talk about Diesel 10, cause his appearance in this special definitely is a mixed bag with the Thomas fans. The main critique with him in this special is that his personality was altered dramatically, and I'm gonna be honest, I welcome the change. Sure, nothing will ever top the evil and hilarious Diesel 10 we got in Magic Railroad, but to me, I think his new personality works just fine. Lady's appearance was also really well done. I still enjoyed the way she was revealed during Thomas's dream. Sadly, while I enjoyed this special as a kid, this special unfortunately did not age well at all. This really could have been a good special. Really, it could have been good. But in the end, what we got was one big special that ends up being both boring and frustrating to watch. I really wanted to like this special, but the flaws are just so infuriating that I came out of this special feeling angry. This special absolutely did not teach its moral very well. It wasted so much time in building up the climax, and then when we got to the climax, the lessons it taught us aren't really gonna matter anyway, because of course, everything is gonna go back to the way it was starting with the next season. If it isn't obvious by this point, this is definitely, without question, a
Failway special.
While the special does have its positives, they sadly aren't good enough to save the mess that this special already is. I just hope that the next special will redeem my trust in the Thomas specials, but we shall have to wait and see for next time.
Well, as for me, I'm pretty much in the same boat with Bonnie. It's interesting because before we were getting ready to watch the special for the review, we were watching the movie for fun not too long ago, and it was right there where we started to notice a lot of flaws with this special, and Barney pretty much summed it all up with his thoughts, and while watching the special again, and even before, I kept on thinking how bad were these flaws, and yeah, they're pretty bad. Honestly, the thing that kills this special the most is not just the plot, but the runtime as well. While I'm sure that at the time, an hour-long special was a neat idea, the team pretty much failed to take advantage of the runtime to grow the plot or help flesh out the part of Steamies and Diesels not being on speaking terms. And instead, they focused too much of the plot on the learning segments themselves, and they really do drag out the special so much that at this point, it just feels like the plot is repeating itself way too much, as Bonnie mentioned. And it is pretty frustrating because throughout the special, Thomas knows he needs to make it right, but as Bonnie says, he doesn't make it any better himself by being boastful. And yeah, let's talk about the whole Steamies versus Diesel plot. So throughout the special, they want to try to make it seem like all of the Steamies and Diesels are on bad terms, but it doesn't work because the only character we see in the special that has a problem with the Diesels is Thomas. So it comes off as petty that suddenly all of the other Steamies and Diesels are fighting with each other just because, or because they ruined their sheds, which, no, not really. Even Diesel said that repairing the sheds was part of their job to begin with, but thanks to Thomas, he delayed the project. And yeah, Thomas's behavior as well as the Diesel's behavior in the special is really stupid. I mean, if you want to teach a lesson to the kids that it doesn't matter what people look like, everyone is still a person that has the same goals, and you shouldn't hate them just because they look different, that's fine because, yeah, it has been shown in history and even today that people sometimes hate each other for petty reasons. But what I'm also getting at is that it would be nice to have the learning segments cut and just show the other main characters and their interactions with the Diesels. If you want to drive home that they're having a hard time working together, that's all I'm asking for. So yeah, the plot is what really kills this special for me, and it's a shame too because everything else about the special is just fine. We definitely do have some great visuals and even good camera shots in the special that at least some effort was being put into the special, like the storm scene. The way they shot the suspension bridge being broken down was really well shot, and by far one of my most favorite shots and even seen in the special is the introduction to Diesel 10. Alright, yes, let's talk about Diesel 10 for a brief moment. So yeah, I was one of those kids that was disappointed that he wasn't going to be the bad guy in the special. And even before then, every time he came on screen, I wanted him to speak. I wanted him to do something, but nope, I had to wait just a little more longer before we can have him do anything. So you can imagine my expression anytime Thomas ran away from Diesel 10, which some could say is a good or a bad thing. I will say though, he gets the best camera shots and scenes in the special, but yeah, by the time we did finally get him to speak, I was disappointed, but I wasn't disappointed to a point where I never wanted to watch the special again or destroy it. I still enjoyed the special enough as a kid, so there's that. I just wish I would have gotten to see more of Diesel 10. And if you thought I was excited when I saw Diesel 10, you could just imagine my face when I saw Lady appearing on the special. Again, that build-up and the shots they got for her, so good. Though, thinking on it now, it does raise a lot of questions about these characters since Thomas and the Magic Railroad is considered non-canon in the show. So, as for me, much like Bonnie, this was a special I liked as a kid, and I was ready to give this a Met rating. However, much like with Magic Railroad, there are too many flaws with this special that it does hurt it a lot, and it's a shame because visually the special looks good, but the story is just a complete mess. It's not a bad story to tell, and the message is not a bad one either, but it's one of those messages that's poorly executed to where it loses its focus. So for me, as much as I don't want to do this, I also have to give this special a 3 out of 10 for a bad special. Again, it's a shame because I did like this special as a kid, and in a way, it's not the worst, far from it, but the plot makes this special boring to sit through, and if you were to take out most of the learning segments or trim them down and just focus more on the rivalry, then this special could work just slightly better. As it is though, it's another special that does not work, but as Bonnie stated, hopefully the next special will make up for it. But wait, we're not done yet. Let's talk about the other two things this special is known for, the narrators. In the US, we have Brandon, and in the UK, we have the late Angelus. So in terms of, in our opinion, who narrated the specials the best, I have to give points to Brandon. He does a real good job in narrating the scenes and the characters in the special that he does make it more fun and entertaining to watch. And again, when he needs to narrate moments that are serious, he does a good job with it. My favorite moment is this Diesel 10 voice. He does a good job trying to be like Neo Chrome, but put his own spin on it as well. Angelus, on the other hand, he was alright at best. It really does sound like he's starting to get real bored with his job, that he doesn't sound as energetic as he once did in the classic series, that, to be honest, it does make the special a little more boring, but again, that's just my opinion.
Well, as for me, Brandon is the clear winner in terms of narration. He really made this special a tad bit enjoyable for me. Some of my favorite moments of his narration include the scene after Thomas makes the timber fall to the ground, Sir Topham Hatt commentating that bananas are no good for building sheds, and of course I have to agree with Sequoia on Diesel 10. Brandon's voice for the character is just fantastic. I wish I could say the same thing for Angelus, but I can't. Remember back in our Season 7 review where I said that Angelus' narration was slowly starting to decline for me? Well, this special is a clear example of that. If you listen to his narration, you can tell that he's not even trying to give the special both the energy and the charisma it needs. That being said, however, I still really like his voice for James. I think it really suits him a lot. But aside from that, yeah, I will agree with Sequoia. Angelus does make this special more boring than it already is. But hey, if you disagree, that's fine. Alright, so with that, let's move on to the songs. Now for this special, we wanted to try out something a little bit different than what we usually do. Instead of listing our favorite songs from the special and then giving a short review on them, we're gonna talk about all the songs that were featured in the special, plus one song that was featured as a bonus feature on the US and the UK DVD of the special. If this new way of reviewing the songs works well with you all, let us know in the comments below. Alrighty then, so with that, let's begin with our first song of the special, Busy. Okay, so out of all the songs in this special, this is the only one that I really don't like. While I do like the instrumental break this song has, what really kills the song for me is the repetitive lyrics and that it's way too upbeat for my taste. I'm not a big fan of the song's lyrics. They come out as both generic and bland, and after hearing them get repeated for about a minute, it gets annoying real quick. So yeah, this song in my opinion is the only bad song from the special. So now let's move to Sequoia to see what he thinks about Busy.
Busy to me is a song that I still like. I like it for its fast-paced music and video. Being someone that likes Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes shorts, I just like the upbeat nature of it. Yeah, the lyrics are repetitive, but the way it's being sung, especially with the verses being slow while the build-up to the uprise is coming, I just love the way it was done. For me, I still like Busy. It's a classic to me.
Alright, so up next we've got Trying to Do Things Better, and already this is a massive improvement over the last song. If Calling All Engines had a signature song that would describe the special in a nutshell, then this song definitely captures what Calling All Engines is about perfectly. It's catchy, it's got perfect lyrics, and even the music video it got was fantastic. No wonder why it's quickly becoming a fan favorite. But however, while this song is good, it's certainly not my favorite song out of the whole special.
Well, you nailed it right out of the park. This song definitely plays a big role in the special, and it's easy to see why it's one of the favorites. The instruments makes this song catchy, the lyrics are fun, and the music video it accompanies also works real well. And yes, say goodbye to Derek because this is the last time we're ever going to see him again. I like this song, it's another one of my favorites. So the next song, Together We Make It Happen, it's another good song, alright. It does wrap things up nicely, feels like the special is getting ready to come to an end. Again, the instruments and lyrics are also good.
Out of all the songs in the special, this is definitely my favorite. It's got a sense of accomplishment in its tone, and that instrumentation, God, that instrumentation is so awesome. If I had to choose what version of the song I will listen to the most, I will definitely pick the extended version. Alright, and with that, we've got one more song to review, and that is the Dream song. Now this song was originally going to be in the special, but was cut due to time constraints, and to be fair, I can clearly see why. This song would have added nothing to the special, and adding it will only make the special drag out longer than it already has. Anyway, I really like this song, and if you want a good example of Ed Welch being an expert in using instruments that you wouldn't normally use in a song, then this is certainly one of them. My favorite part of the song is the calliope that he uses throughout the whole song. And with that, I'll leave Sequoia to give his thoughts on the song before we move on to the music for the special itself.
So, Bonnie and I just discovered that apparently Ed Welch took some inspiration from Duck's theme to make this song, and listening to it again, I can't unhear it now. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I do agree with Bonnie that the music score is very unique in a good way, and I can also see why this song was cut from the special. It's a very weird song when you think about it, but in a way I kind of like it. But I'll be honest, it's not really a song I can see myself coming back to that often. Overall, I would say the score for this special was good. Again, not the best, and does sound generic at some parts, but the songs are another reason why this special doesn't get a very low score for me. I will also say I do like how they updated the Ancient Roll Call song just for this special, although the lyric about no one remembering how they work with a train with a frickin' metal claw makes no sense. How can you forget something like that? Oh well, for me, the score was good for the most part, but that's really all I have to say on it.
I'll be honest, the score didn't do that much for me as it did in Season 8. It was very much generic throughout the entire special, except for the ending score where they mix Emily's theme with the final music cue for the special. And that's about it for me, really. Yeah, again, unlike the season that came before it, where it had a diverse range of musical scores, this special pretty much repeated the same musical cues over and over again, to the point where it becomes very wimpy, repetitive, and boring.
And that's our thoughts on Calling All Engines. So, this was a fun ride, to be honest. Despite the rating we ended up giving the special, we had our fun watching and making fun of the special as we went along. Again, this is not the worst special by a long shot, but even comparing this to Thomas and the Magic Railroad, at least with Thomas and the Magic Railroad, there was a couple of entertaining moments in that movie compared to this special. But, like we always say, if you guys like the special as it is, then continue to like it. With that, this is the Review Bro saying thank you all for watching the special review. If you guys enjoyed the special, don't forget to hit that like button.
And if you guys want to see more reviews like this, hit that subscribe button as well. Also, a quick reminder that Season 2 of the Really Useful Podcast will be coming out later this year. When exactly, we don't know yet, but we'll make sure to keep you guys updated on that.
Also, don't forget to check out our own separate channels. My main channel where I review movies and shows on my own, and my gaming channel where I do Let's Plays and sometimes walkthroughs.
Also, don't forget to check out my channel, OTPod7, where I'll soon be reviewing every Beatles solo album ever released. Anyways, this is OTPod7 with my good pal,
Sakura the Diesel.
and we're the Review Bros, signing off.